contact DVD, elbow specificity. In the specificity series, we focused upon specific types of weapons, their unique characteristics, how they're used, what's the safest way to use them. This is what the specificity series is about. It's about focusing on one subject, one item, one type of movement, and then going in on it and looking at it closely, isolating it, analyzing it. This elbow specificity DVD will be about how the elbow, the forearm area specifically, can be employed in a wide variety of means, both as a controlling agent, a grappling agent, striking obviously, and how in certain conditions it will replicate the actions of edged weapons. We'll talk about the drawbacks and the hazards of using the elbow, as well as the high points, the pros and the cons. So, travel along with me. Understand we'll be traveling through different arts, different expressions of this in its conceptual form. It's a thinking person's video as well as an action-packed series of drills and applications. Let's get to that. We have to have some way to train the elbow and to understand its use. We can throw like forearm smashes. By turning the palm out, we get a more devastating strike on the elbow. But also, the point of the elbow is a delicate thing. Do a little conditioning. Use focus mitts, something to slowly condition you, get you used to doing this. Before you actually think that you can go out and meet a fist head on, understand conditioning helps. We don't want to cause a paralysis of your arm by hitting in the wrong place or getting you hurt. So one of the first things we do to get a sense of rhythm, timing, distance control, and how to use that elbow is to do it with a common exercise called hubud, lubud. Hubud is commonly seen in this manner. We use it throughout the Filipino martial arts. In this case, the blow will not be done like this. The blow will be done here. But the same series of motions will be done. So he carries, covers, I catch, carry, cover. This is where I would stop, do a strike to damage his limb, come back in and strike on my own. So, right there. Keep going. Notice there's a rhythm. Let's try the other side. So, from here, we're going to get going and throw. So you can see we're not going real fast, but we're parrying off an elbow and striking. Now, he doesn't have to always match my elbow. He could be doing standard hubud. Let's do standard hubud. I'll just switch over to elbow. But he'll still catch. He'll just do the same strike. I'm throwing the elbow. He's still striking. Right. So we're kind of cross-training this weapon system. He's still in the boxing punching range. I'm in a little bit closer elbow. Let's do again. I hope you can see what I'm talking about as you're watching at home. I'm throwing the elbow, he's throwing the punch. Okay? So that's the idea. Get with your partner, cross-train elbow to elbow, elbow times punch. You can even go way out, and he can do, like if we're Panatukan boxing here using cut parries, well, while he's boxing, I can come in and do the same elbow technique. Now, he has to reach a little, but he's going to have to still strike, see? So we're not really trying to hit each other, but we're just exercising mid-range, long range, exceptionally close range. So we've isolated this. We've got a method to train it now. Moving along, we're going to show you another exercise involving a two-part set on how to use your elbow both vertically as well as horizontally. This too will be done in an interactive style with a partner. Later, the partner would never do this, your adversary in a fight. You'll see how this works into a nice attack sequence if someone were to touch you from either side. So, as we do this, this is going to start very much like hubud that we just did, the elbow style like this, where he catches, lays over, very much, except in this case, he doesn't do anything back except cover. So when I do this, This is one. I don't really hit it. He allows me to have that. He covers. I go palm up and capture right here. This is the base, the anvil. He's on top of the anvil. Here comes the hammer. I then strike. He covers again. This hand drops free. I go palm up, catch and cover. Strike. He covers. This is known as siko, taban, or tabis. Siko being the elbow. I'm doing a little bit of ricochet hitting from Juru 6. Juru 6. So when all Pete's doing is reacting Now, I'm going to have Pete do that to me. So he'll get the strike to the elbow, to the bicep, and chop. I'll deny that. He'll shift over to this side. I'll deny that. So he's just going through the motions. I can add in, as he's going horizontal. Go ahead and continue. See, horizontal, back across horizontal. I'll add in vertical and chop. Horizontal, vertical, and chop. Upward, downward. Here's my strike. Here's my counter. Here's his, there's his counter. We're learning to deal with each other on each line. Now, in a fight, if something like this were to come in, bang, there's your trap. He's already in trouble. This is the foot trap. So that's what we're talking about. Now, if you can do this off that particular line, well, you can do it off the other one. So it's fairly simple. Meaning, if I'm catching here, I either throw him, or if he hits, I just trade. Because that's what we're using is elbow and forearm. So irregardless of whether I'm out here and striking him, exterior and striking, or whether I'm in the horizontal mode, exterior, strike, I can then go into vertical, because you must know both parts. So I would play the vertical for a while, then I would trade off with him. Watch one more time. The parent drill was done one. All he did was cover. No more than throwing a hand up. Hit and then there. Hit, then in. Hit, then in. Hit, then in. Now he adds the second line. As I do this, he covers and wipes and comes up vertically. There we go, like so. And then come back in and one. Beautiful. See how the hand hits, articulates. That is the bang, that's the chop. Of course he'd block that. In another video, another DVD called Crossing the Bridge, I talked about how if you come in and I had hit and did this, how the body is usually open here. There it is again. A killer shot based right off of this action that I can drill him. Look, and there it is. I can go right back into my pattern. Okay, you say, well, that's great. You know, you're really dinging that poor guy's arm, but isn't that a little high schooly? Not a bit. Not a bit. The reason why is because it's a devastating blow. It's not one that's likely to get you involved in a lawsuit. Not going to break any teeth or anything. It's going to be one painful, devastating blow, and it gives you superior control. I've watched people, I played judo in my early years, done aikido, etc., involving throws, different ways of operation. I've never seen anything as easy as dumog that can just take someone and put them down. So when we do this, we're using a dumog technique. In this next section, I'd like to share that with you. In this portion on basic dumog, I want to show how easy it is by using a camming action, by rolling your hand at the proper time and pulling. You can slam dunk someone. all these different throws, you know, maybe ogoshi, where I have to pick him up. And I mean, I really got to kind of get under him and pick him up. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that it's really laborious. And if you're not in top shape or you don't understand the mechanics of it, it's almost impossible. So, in today's world, or perhaps you wear weapons, and you don't really want to, like, give the guy your gun, you know, not good. So you need something to deck somebody, but you just can't commit that much, like to a judo throw, or want to grapple with them. An easy method is that action. I can also move them with it. So, relating back to the interactive drill that we did, 1, 2, or it's opposing 1, 2, the upward or vertical line. Both end with this chop, like so. So, in doing that, we can understand how to come in, how to control, get a devastating throw on top of a devastating blow. Here, now, look at the action. I can spin him real easy. This doesn't do it. I've got a little bit of tug, but why wouldn't he just smack the piss out of me? See, so it would just, there's nothing here. But when I do this, everything changes. You've got to practice this and how this lifts. Now, isn't that, if he comes jetting down, I could either block with that chop or I could chop with that chop. If he goes to hit, I can just wipe. Who says I always have to do it outside? There it is again, and strike. This is the control. See how I'm making Pete stagger? I'm barely touching him. And he's not faking, he's just feeling what's happening. So whether I'm inside, whether I'm outside, whether I'm in vertical, practice this. Left underneath, right on top. This dunks him. Now, capture under your arm, armpit, grip with your right, come up with your upwards, vertical. Here, and move him forwards. Now, move him backwards. Set him down. Move forward. See the exchange? He's hitting. There's the first hit. Whether he hits, whether he doesn't, I'm going to do this. It'll either be a block or a clip. At that point, I've got him. My hands are still free, but I've got him here. I'm going to deliver that upwards one. So this is a switch between vertical and horizontal. Vertical. And in the process, each hand can hit. You need to learn this little skill. And become good at it. These set up what you've done with the elbow. So, by learning the exercise that we showed you, Pete, go ahead and start her up. By learning this one, the more advanced version, you'll then have something to base your skills upon. So that you'll say, oh, I know some proximity range, I know the approximate range, the distance to hit from. I won't be reaching towards him because I've done this enough with another person. You understand the timing. It isn't about me going like that. And no, this involves advanced hand skills so that whatever we're in here, if this comes in, see that, look, see, pass with the elbow. I'm showing you this one, like we're coming in, just capture. Use your armpit, that is the elbow. In elbow shields, in MK, number 3, 1, 2, 3. The elbow shields. So when that comes down, that's the trap. People say, well, you could hit. Well, yeah, but it could be a trap. It's conceptual. I'm using it as a trap. Look at it from that standpoint. When you look at upward elbow, we have our knife. Let's say upward elbow. We look at an upward elbow like this, or like this, as usually a strike, or a strike like we're doing. But it's still the motion of the elbow. And I've shown many of you this after a pass. This is not an upward elbow, but it is. There it is. And that is what returns the knife to him. So when I look at like a number 2, yeah, I see boom, boom, boom. I see jacking his jaw. I see whacking him in the bicep. You bet. Upward elbow. But I also see upward elbow in this manner as a trap so that I can reverse this knife on this guy. Try to see the motion versus just the technique. See as it comes back, see as it goes out, see all the benefits there. That is what I'm teaching you in this elbow specificity. So you now have the Siko version, the elbow version of Hubud, as well as 2 versions of this where you're either striking vertically or horizontally with the elbow followed by a chop. So practice that. In the next section, we'll share a little bit more insight about the elbow and the base of motion it comes from. I'd like to share with you some ideas about the 5 elbow shields. Although I put these on Modern Knives Video Magazine earlier, I'd like to detail them in a little bit more detail than what I did on that, and just share them with you since they're an ideal thing for elbow specificity DVD. And if you don't have MK, you'd be sorry you missed these. So in which case you can get 2 versions, purchase the old back issue of MK or run off this, but that way you have 2 different looks at it. Okay, the first one is going to be done in an overhand arcing action like so. 1, now like a back knuckle, but roll it. So 1, 2. Try that with me. 1, 2, 1, 2. This side, 1, 2. Notice it rolls up in front of my face. Those of you boxing fanatics, remember how Gene Fulmer used to fight? Gene Fulmer? I think they call him the Fighting Mormon. Just watch boxers do that. That's number 1 elbow shield. Looks like Count Dracula looking through his cape. Blah. Right there. If you did it to the side, it would look like a seagull flying, you know. Gertrude and Heathcliff, 2 seagulls. And strike. All right, off that. 1. Come up. 2. Now, come around the head, straight down. In Kung Fu, that's called the horse's hoof punch. It really hurts. So, once again, 1, 2. Come around. 3. Take that from this side. 1, follow-up punch. 2, follow-up punch. 3, follow-up punch. Now, 4, across your body. Follow-up strike. And 5, follow-up strike. Each of the elbow shields has a follow-up strike. Pete, come on in. From here, as he strikes, there's my first one. He strikes again, bang, I hit him. So that's 1, 2, 1, 2. If he hit with this hand first, 1, 2. Doesn't matter how I do it, or what hand he uses or doesn't. I do one thing. If I have to put in elbow shield, cover elbow shield, I can. They're actually quite effective. This part of the arm is fairly delicate. If I did this to the forehead or something, it'd probably really hurt me. But where I'm doing this to the top of his hand and the muscle and bone, I'll tell you, it's a real devastating shot. It's something you can easily do. Just put your hands up like to stop that fist. If he's punching, it's like, don't. Now, just roll over the top and clip him, and then hit him for it. That's the first one. And if he hits again, that's why this is here. Okay, on the number 2, if I want to come up and shield him off, let's say, like left hand punch, like this. Okay, from here, see, shield him off, like this. If he had gone wide, I just shield here. I want to break his nose for this. Because remember, 1, 2, 1, 2. Everyone has a follow-up punch. On number 1, I did this, broke the nose. Number 2, I'm going to do this and break the nose. If I had came here, I'm still going to break the nose. Even if I was at the point of his hand with number 2 here, to break it, I'm still going to break the nose. It comes out of the sun like a dive bomber. Bam. Number 3 includes bait. You going to hit me or what? Pow. And you close that. Remember, I can utilize that to lift, or I can utilize it to drop. So its follow-up punch is here. So if I look at this maybe as a 2-shotter, he's striking, I load here, he comes in again, bang, I drop on him. If he hits again, bang, there it is. If I'm baiting him, maybe he sticks a kick in or something. There it is, bang, right there. If he punches from here, there's my check again and punch. That's why it's a go ahead and do what you're going to do, drop and hit. Because as soon as you drop on them, they always punch or something. That's why this is there. It's a logic. So if the minute you execute your crush of some kind or elbow shield to protect yourself, they're going to attack. Know it's there. Know this clears the path, whether it's here or here. Slap and punch or check and punch. Either way. So that is the number 3. The 4. The 4 catches him on the inner brachial and hits like so with the knuckles. So it's an action from this side, see? Point and hinges. Works real nice. So far. Now this one. This one from the guard, if this comes in, I just jack up like this and ram it and punch him in the belly. From this side, if the guard was up, he comes in and I'm lifting and striking. From the other side, I'm going to, from that side here, I'm going to lift, see, to hurt that and hit him. If this one were to come in like we did, I'm going to lift and hit him again. So it's just a lifting process to get that out of there. Usually you're on the inside gate, meaning if he swung at me the first time and I did this one, they swing again, see? That's when you catch that next arm and punch him or set one in the breadbasket. It's kind of cool when you link these together and say 1, see, 2, hits again, 3, see, 4, this is the next strike sequence. If he punches, I'm just going to take that through. He hits again. Okay? I block again as he punches. See, here, as he punches, as he punches. I just showed you the whole flow sequence as best as I could there on how 1 for 1 for 1 for 1. You'll say, would they do that? Well, if they don't, they get hit. If they keep hitting instead of be hit, then that's what's going to happen to them. Because there's not much elsewhere to go. As long as they stay in here and keep feeding things, this is a progression that says, oh, do that, I do this, do that, I do this. So what happens next? I go back to 1 and do this, or do that, and this, and this, and this, and this. Okay? When you practice that, you walk the line. Start the next. This begins the next set of 5. So you walk the line. In class, if you're a teacher, you isolate these, each one, and just work that over and over to get these strange actions that are so deceptive and yet work so well when it comes to the specifics of elbow technique. These are your shields. Let them run into the points on all levels. These shields can be duplicated the same way. If he's kicking roundhouse, that's the equivalent. Like so. So anytime that we're doing, and you see that, that's a block. Real easy, if he were to kick here, then that's okay, right there, see, I'm going to strike. If it's from this side, see, I'm going to strike, kick. Now remember, this isn't a block. We're not going shin to shin. As he's kicking, I'm using a point to move him, just like the point of the elbow. If someone grabs you, take this off for the grabs. If someone grabs you, go down, go up, contour their arm, drop your weight, and spear them. Punch him away. That is using a elbow to set the blow and strike. You see how it works? Trying to give you some ideas on the elbow techniques. That would be the employment of the number 2 shield like this, except I'm doing it like this. Not to cover a shield, but to take advantage of this poor guy and hit him using that elbow. Those of you familiar with Kempo, you'll remember that's one, I believe it's a situational, perhaps called lever or one of them, I can't remember, raising the staff maybe. But either way, that's the idea of a close quarter elbow spear. Kempo is full of good elbows. Those of you that practice that art could do a whole study on the specifics of that technique within the confines of American Kempo. So, whichever way you do it, you'll find that there is some value to the tech. Now again, they're repetitious. You'd say, well, this technique you called an elbow shield, but when I didn't do it here, but I did it like this, you said it was part of Dumog. Exactly. I also told you Japanese name called Empi, and there's a dozen others. Siko, whatever you want to call it, it is part of your body's overall arsenal of shielding, defense, as well as striking, offense. Combined with secondary auxiliary tools, they become devastating close-quarter defensive exercises and techniques. That again, I would only say if you have your knife handy? Sure. There we go. Do like I advise. Elbow shield 1, elbow shield 2. Lift, elbow shield 3, 4. Okay, work, see how they work. Do them all with your knife, because therein again is a big secret for you close quarter reverse grip guys, of both control as well as lethal force kills. All right, I want to show you how you use your elbows in kind of a clinch situation. Pete, come on in. From here, we know that like the mantis people, if they catch you here, I'm going to pull in and I'm going to have this in, like this. If I capture his arm, I can pull this in. Part of the capture is how the forearm comes in and traps. If I'm pulling here, you know, if I get the reverse grip like this, I can kind of choke. See? So off certain grabs, how you lever that elbow in is how you make it work. See? So like in this case, if we have clinched or gone into a pre-grappling situation, I'm going to use that concept like the mantis to push out with my elbow to do this. If I'm in double, I'm going to keep him back by using that. He knows how to come in. So his job, if I'm in the dominant position, is to go under and get inside and take dominant position. See how he's using that elbow against me like that? Now if I just put my hand in here, he's kind of too strong for me just to bully in. So what I'm going to do is put my hand in here and use it as an axis to get my elbow in here and get this hand in. And in the process, I'm going to move around a bit. We're going to move, gently tug on each other's neck. So between tugging this way, I'm also pushing, trying to get this other hand in that he's blocking until I do. Now, I'll take over like a defensive. He tries to go on the offensive, and I'll start trying to block. See how he got in there? If you feel, now see, he's blocking me. See, with that elbow, I've got to get in here. I've got to angle my body. And we're pulling. Now, as one guy makes a move, maybe he'll say, okay, he's going to go under with this hand. And I'll start blocking. He's got to be careful because he's got to be able to block here, or that's where why guys get you in this position. See, so in the same way, if I'm fighting too hard as he comes in to guard here, he'll smack me. See? So I mean, it's kind of a game of sensitivity. It's not all just brutality in there. You are moving him around and hitting him. From here, if we're in this position, You get in here, if you get there's a shiver, see, right there. So that is an inner elbow. Again, when we think of an elbow, we think of this. But this is elbow too. So this is specificity. This DVD is all about making you think. It's about shifting where you're at mentally, the paradigm where you're at, to a newer one that says, man, there is a lot of ways to use elbow. Now, obviously, the limitation is that it's a close quarter technique. I can't do a lot of elbows out here. But within the confines of that close quarter arsenal, it has a lot of different variations and interesting applications. So not only should we add in this sense while we're learning to get a hold of guys, get their grip, hit them, do things like that. We're both learning counters to escape this. Get in there and control. There we go. So we're both playing like this, but we're also learning not only the points where to hit, but those even that others may not see through things like shivers. Of course you can add in later your leg, your foot stomps, whatever. But we're just looking at this ability to cover that line using the elbows, when to strike in the timing of that, because that is a drill. We're not really fighting. It's my hand, his hand. And if you look at it, many times like chi sao, right here. If he's inside, I'm inside, that's luk sao, right there. Well, look at this. This is just a close version. When we're both like this, and now he's got one in, I've got one in. I switch, he switch. This is just the same position, but deeper. And now we're using the neck to move around a bit, breaking him down. He's blocking, trying to get all the tools, see, jutsao that we've seen before. It's right there. The one that we were working in here, look, here it is. See? If I'm I'm trying to hit him, it's too hard. If I switch, he'll fall. I'll flip him. This is like a game that you play. You're not trying to hurt each other. Now, to get some motion into your game, I would ask that you just play around, have fun with this, don't hurt your partner, and get used to moving people. Get someone approximately your own size and just kind of fling each other around. How we're going to do this is this. I'm going to catch here. This would be the strike. I'm just going to move him. Now, he's going to catch, do his strike. He's going to move me. That's the idea. Now, bring him back. See? I'm glad I held you up on that one. That way, some son of a bitch messes with me. Say, here, take your friend. Boom. Heave him across the room. Or, instead of around, he goes down. See? Or he goes down and around and out. But just get used to flinging each other around. Off an entry. Boom. See? Move over here, man. I want to deal with this. See, hold on to that lever. Add something simple as, boom, go here, break him down. And then stick that dog on him. And stick that dog on him. Yes. Hi. Hi. So, you can see part of this, yes, is the blow. This part. But then I've combined the blow with this and a direction. Now it's a nice set, something that you can really play with. So keep monkeying with these things. We have more good things in store. Okay, I'd like to show you a little bit about how this action works. Now, you see a lot of elbows, you know, in that manner. You see them like karate, whatever. But you don't see a lot of this swish, swish, back and forth. Sometimes it's connected to the back of the head for a cover, protecting the back of the neck as well as the side of the head. And then it's used as an adjunct to the spine, like this. It gives a lot of power when you're in close. I'll show you how this works. I'd like to also share with you some things about trapping and a couple of ideas on defensive uses using the elbows. Pete, come on in. So from here is what I'm talking about. It's a rather delicate thing to be hitting with. It will hurt you big time because there's nerves in here. You don't want to be hit up in this. So I'm not advising you to strike with this. What I'm talking about here is if I get this person in a position where I've crossed them, meaning maybe like 1, 2, 3, 4. Here it is. I'm trying to stay back so you can see it, but this is what it is. Now, sure, I could do like this, but this is much more powerful to set him back. The same way from the rear. If we're like this, and I'm coming in here, I want to maybe take this foot and pop him, you know, like this. This works real good in the close quarter. My hand then unfolds, gets the hip check and the shoulders. I've got pretty much control with this in this situation from there. So it's also a great place to set. If you can do this with your hand to catch, you know, just simply wipe and catch, then do it with the forearm and wipe and catch here. Be able to strike with your hands as you see fit. Know where your arm bars, your figure fours are. So what we're talking about here, see, is an opening action to either push a blow away to come in, or if I've already came in and got into this, that may be where I'm using it from there. In the trapping sense, if I come in here and he covers, I just shoot the elbow through and strike him. If he grabs my hand, I pin here, roll down, and break his wrist. These are all on, I believe, my Advanced Trapping series on DVD. If you'd like to learn more about this, we certainly can. But for now, the idea of what I'm sharing with you is just how off of a simple engagement or a boxer's jab like this, that if I remove that, I either hit this guy in the face or he's going to throw that other hand up, whether it's in defense or as an attack. All I have to do is shoot my elbow past that and come in from there, either hit and move. If I don't want to deal with bridging and moving in, as I was there, what I'll do is just pass that and attack his low line or his floating rib. As he hits, I just pass and strike here and strike. So this 1, 2. Now, as I come over, this could very likely hit him. The third elbow, 4, 5, turn the head, 6. So once more, 1, 2, 3, 4, bang, bang. That's all elbows. And I said, would you really do that? Well, probably not. It's isolating elbow drill. I would probably start with saying, don't do that a couple of times if it were a fight, before I just tore into somebody like a madman. But in that situation, I am not advising, like in some instances, that you try to stop him. I'm just saying, pass him, let him go, drop into your low line. Hit with one side. Now sure, you could do 2, but hit 1, 2 here. Now go to this side. 3, 4, 5, 6. Learn the pattern so that you can just drop through these. That way, if you're here, use your hands. Hit him. But if you're here, he stopped this hand. He forgot this one. He just took a point. See? Now he's going to get a point here again with an elbow. When that elbow's there, this could hit or snap down into the groin. Kenjitsiko. See? Many times, if we're coming in here, this is where I'm taking him as I flip him backwards. With the groin strikes is that elbow. See? So the elbow works as leverage. It works to throw. In that sense, it works whether we're trapping, coming in, as I said. In that sense, those of you that know Juru 4, rotary parries, on one side only would be like this. Juru 4. Right? That sort of thing. Rotary parry. So, that's where we're at. And if he hits again, well, I just rotary in. Pass and rotary there. So, if you know Juru 4, you probably know some elbows. If you know karate, maybe like Nahate, you know that in the Goju-Ryu katas, they kick and they go, yeah. In the Geksai series, there's an elbow. The kata empi is all about elbow. I forget whether it's number 4 that blocks, strikes. A lot of elbows, even in traditional karate. Look at those moves conceptually, because there's some good things there. Don't look at them in their basic format of just striking, but really see into their depths, because there are some good moves within some of the karate kata from the old days involving elbows. One of the favorites I remember from the old days is like Seiunchin. You're doing a movement like this. And we always wondered, is it like hitting? Finally we found one guy, he said, no, really it's about from behind. They've captured your hands like a bear hug, you know? Right. So what I've got to do is lift this, and hit him, see? So you do that by going to that cat stance, which causes him to hollow out, giving you your targets, okay? So, see the break? Right there. I back up again, throwing him off again, and hit him again. So in the form, when you see, that's what it's all about. See, in this case, one elbow is striking to the rear while the other is lifting. It's that combination that snaps you free. So look at elbows within your own realm, whether it's Tang Soo Do, karate, kung fu, whatever it may be, because there's a lot of secrets that lie within there, and that is what we're trying to get you thinking about. Is then one day, just say all today, all class, all training at home, I'm just going to work different elbow techniques. I'll close the fridge with my elbow, turn the light switch on and off with my elbow. If I pet my dog, I'll do it with my elbow, because this is elbow day, and I'm going to learn everything about it. If this DVD can be elbow specific, so can a few of your training regimens, to really refine that and make it part of your overall curriculum. Now, if this were a knife, we would be using it because this is about elbows. It's not about this. It's got to duplicate what the elbow does. So we're going to use this in classic reverse grip position, contouring the elbow. Even if they see it, okay, you see it. If you come in with your hand, your knife, whatever, if it gets near me, I'm going to cut straight up and cut your arm, maybe pierce it, pierce you. Because what did my elbow do? When it was here, it did this, went up and chopped. Or it went up and chopped. Same, this is now my elbow. Just as I did with my upward elbow and strike. Just as I did my elbow across and strike, knife across and strike. Same thing. Elbow work refines your reverse grip knife work in a good way, in a positive way. So, whatever we just showed you, if it were this one, do it with your knife now. And press the knife behind your hands. Don't let it be seen. Put your head down. Look threatening. Don't want to fight. But if it comes in, there it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All the same actions that you learned with your elbow. That was just the knife. If I wanted to add 1, 2, 3, add my other elbow in with the knife. Holy cow, meaning this one. You got quite a combo there. So by training reverse grip or reverse grip knife, you do elbow. While training elbow, you're actually training knife in reverse grip. So remember that, because that way, in classic Comtech fashion, you're learning 2 or 3 things simultaneously as you're learning one thing. The positions of the elbow, let's say if we're here, look, elbow. It sure as hell ain't a strike. I'm not in that position. I'm not in some ballet-like kick. I'm in a double lock with a single hand using an elbow to trap. My elbow is a key component to that. Otherwise, I couldn't do it. It's like if I come in here and do this, my elbow right here is a key component to making this slip lock work. If it doesn't, it just slips. But it's a key component. But this side of it, instead of this side or this side, how important is this joint to the understanding, the control, the power, the pressure of the combat? It's very important. So understand the depths of it, even through the medium of the knife. Then close quarter combat in here won't be so fearsome for you. You won't be so likely to try to stay out here and hit them away, or just run in and, Hail Mary and try to jump on them. You'll have something in that in-between deadly close quarter range, both with your empty hands as well as perhaps an edged weapon. On behalf of myself and my partner, Pete Kautz, we'd like to thank you for checking this video out. And we hope it brings some new enlightenment, some new awareness to whatever art you practice, specifically the elbow techniques that we all share in common. See you on the next one. And don't forget, when you're wrestling with big, fat, wild pit bulls, use your elbows to hold them down. Use that elbow to hold them down. That way, they won't escape and eat the neighbors. Hi! Elbow techniques, Steve Irwin. In honor of Steve Irwin. Yes.